Welcome back everyone. On today's video I'm going to talk about cryptocurrencies and all types of things that have to do with those. But right now we are going to look at how the cryptocurrency market is going. Looking at right now, we are seeing quite huge drops. We are seeing a lot of red indicators during the past 7 days. We have seen major drop of 21%, 27%, and even bigger drops further. As you could see, for example, Dogecoin almost 43% down during the past 7 days. So it has been quite a rough week, and that is also why I would like to take a look at what is currently going on and how we will recover from this major drop, or if we will be recovering. So that is why I would like to take a look at a news article that I've placed over here, and it is, I think, actually something quite nice to read. It has a lot of perspective from different types of people with different opinions about the market action. So let's take a look at this article on Cointelegraph, and what it's saying on the title, it's Bitcoin price can hit 450k in 2020, 135k is worst case scenario, Plan B says. The only way more or less up for Bitcoin price action, the analysts insist, offering a potential 2021 high of $450,000. So let's take for sure a look at this article and how Bitcoin will be just going up those steps, creating a new all-time high. So let's take a look. Bitcoin could trade at an eye-watering $450,000 by the end of 2021, while $135,000 would be the worst case scenario. That, according to analyst, Plan B, who on Sunday released his latest sentiment, busting bullish BTC price prognosis. Bitcoin to match all-time high in October. Well known as the creator of the stock-to-flow Bitcoin price forecasting models, Plan B has repeatedly bucked the overall market mood in recent weeks and months. Even as Bitcoin USD sees multiple retests of lows from months past, the analyst and his models remain firmly fixed on a far brighter midterm goal for the largest cryptocurrency. Now, even the worst case scenario for Bitcoin would still see a trade at 47,000 in August. A slight reversal in September places the minimum target of 43,000 for that month, only to be followed by $63,000 in October, near current all-time high. So very exciting to read this, and let's take a look at what they're saying even further. Things then heat up with $98,000 on the cards in November and a giant $135,000 by the end of the year. And as such, Bitcoin is still 4 months from rematching its all-time high, a prediction that nonetheless beats some bearish models currently circulating from traders. These include Josh Rager, who this week claimed that 64,500 may well have been this price cycle stop, something Plan B has specially renounced on multiple occasions. Wait until you see my base case and best case scenarios. A hint, best case, December 450k, he added in comments about what Bitcoin could be capable of in 2021. And let's take a look a little bit higher up, and let's take a look at this chart over here. So the Bitcoin as stock to flow model, worst case scenario 2021. I'm sorry. This is published by Plan B. So you can take a look at this worst case scenario of the stock to flow model. And what you're actually seeing over here is that it is telling us that we will be seeing Bitcoin head towards the 100k, or a little bit further up above the 100k at approximately the end of 2021, on the fourth quarter of this year. And this is for sure something very interesting to take a look at, because I think the stock to flow out ratio is of course something of utmost importance to take into consideration, and for sure because I'm a huge fan of Plan B's predictions. So I think you have to take a look at this more closely if you are interested in why he decided to actually make this price prediction, but why I personally think that Plan B has been quite right in the past a few times. So that could possibly mean that this time we will be seeing at the end of 2021 a Bitcoin price action of 100k. But let's take a look a little bit further at this article. So Kiyosaki waits for 24k buy-in. As Cointelegraph reported, meanwhile, this weekend is seeing problematic moves by Bitcoin. Sunday low stood at 33,337 on Bitstamp at the time of writing, with Bitcoin USD shedding 5% on the day and reversing most of previous week gains. Call for a further leg down are growing from various sources, with Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, being the latest high-profile voice going short. Biggest bubble in the world history getting bigger. He warned about the overall macro market climate on Saturday. He stated, biggest crash in world history coming, buying more gold and silver, waiting for Bitcoin to drop to 24k, crashes, best time to get rich. Take care. Such an event would echo March 2020, with commentators continuing to note the constant all-time highs on equities market regardless of noise from central banks. So I personally think for sure we are seeing two types of outcomes. Someone who is planning the overall Bitcoin price will be going down, and a second individual who is telling us that the Bitcoin price action is actually going up and that we will create an all-time high eventually at the end of 2021. And what I personally think is I am quite a fan of actually Plan B, and you can see over here that this has been the Bitcoin USD price. And I must say that this is very likely that we will continue to see this steep going forward stock to flow model being followed by Bitcoin as it has done before. And for sure, we won't be seeing a major reversal towards the downside getting created. And that is also my personal opinion and why I would like to take a look at the charts right now. So if we take a look at the charts, for example, the Bitcoin chart, what I wanted to start right away with is actually to take a look at on the daily time frame on the Bitcoin contract perpetual by Bybit. I wanted to take a look at the moving averages. And foremost, I wanted to take a look at what we are seeing over here. And what a lot of people have been talking about on the cryptocurrency space and cryptocurrency overall market. And what I think is very important. Over here, you're seeing that we are almost getting near to a dead cross getting started, because the 50-day moving average will be crossing over the 200-day moving average in the short term on the daily time frame. This for sure will be pushing the price of Bitcoin even further down, but I personally think we won't be heading way further down, especially because if we also will enable the relative strength index, or also known as RSI, if this occurs, if we see a crossover pushing the price of Bitcoin even further down, I personally think we will eventually break below the dotted line, and we will see the price action of Bitcoin actually reverse instead of go even further down and creating a way lower price action of Bitcoin, maybe as we read before, going towards the 24k. What I personally think is still very important to take into consideration is actually the Bitcoin price action right now and how it's currently performing, especially because it's still holding strong above the orange lines. And as you can see, and if you have watched my previous videos, you may know that I've always said that the orange box is a major level of support and resistance. for sure on the 4-hourly time frame, but as well for the overall Bitcoin price action. And right now we are currently seeing that Bitcoin is trading inside of the current orange box in between $30,535 and $33,936. I personally think this is a very major level of support, and it's not just a prediction of myself that is not like holding strong, because you can already see that after this major price drop on the Bitcoin price action, we already saw Bitcoin actually getting supported at these levels, and we tried to move up, retesting this level of resistance at approximately $40,811, and we got rejected by it, heading all the way down towards a retest of this orange level of support in between these two orange lines. And Crypto Rover, welcome back as well. And what we are seeing over here is not just this crossover on the moving averages that could potentially move the price even further down, but I think as well that we will be able to stay above the orange box, and that this is just a retest of this level of support for the current price action of Bitcoin. Also, let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart that I've used quite a lot lately on during the channel. And as I said previously as well, that it is quite likely that we will be trading, as I said before as well, in between these two levels of support and resistance, in between the orange box and the white line on the upper part at approximately $42,898. And why I think personally this is a major level of resistance that we have to break through is because if you take a look at previous data, you will see that we traded at that level for quite a while for sure, and it will be quite difficult to break above that level anytime soon. And as well, if you take a look, more importantly right now is actually the orange box, because we are right now seeing a price action towards the downside getting started on the Bitcoin chart, and for sure we are getting supported once again by the orange box where we have traded in the past as well. And if we zoom in a little bit in the past, you could see that Bitcoin traded for quite a while inside of the orange box before it was able to head even further, and it retested the box multiple times. So I think this will be a major significant level of support that will hold Bitcoin strong during the upcoming days. And thank you very much for watching this live stream. Thank you all. And also VJ Takur, welcome to the live stream. And it's time to buy Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I personally think right now we are still watching that dead cross, as I announced before, playing itself off on the daily time frame, and this will for sure be pushing the price down a bit for Bitcoin a little bit further down. But as I also told you just several minutes ago, we are seeing that we are on the lower part of the RSI, and we are actually trading quite near the lower dotted line. And this could potentially mean once the Bitcoin price action breaks down below this dotted line, we will for sure see a recovery of the strength, and as well the price action will be heading back up once again. So I personally think you have to wait for a retest of the actual $30,535 level, and that is a potential great opportunity to buy Bitcoin for sure. So this is something I wanted to take a look at. And also let's take a look at the other chart that I had over here. Let's take a look at where we are currently at, and also let's enable the EMA ribbon. As you can see, we broke below the EMA ribbon several weeks ago at approximately the 11th of May, and after the major drop we haven't retested the EMA ribbon on the daily time frame once yet, and the retest actually occurred. And it is very common for a retest of the EMA ribbon to actually break out towards to get rejected by the EMA ribbon on the very first time that you are trying to break above the EMA ribbon. You can see that very good at the 4-hourly time frame, because if you take a look at the 4-hourly time frame, you can take a look over here, and each time Bitcoin tried to break above the EMA ribbon, the very first time, it is not quite likely to actually succeed in breaking above the EMA ribbon, even with a major momentum towards the upside at that certain point in time. So that is also why I think on the daily time frame it was quite likely that we would get rejected by the EMA ribbon, and why I think it's still healthy that we are trading in between these two levels of support and resistance. And what we are seeing over here at the current price action is that we are right now underneath the EMA ribbon, and the EMA ribbon is serving as a major level of resistance for sure. And of utmost importance is we went down, we saw that major price action towards the downside getting created, but what I think is very important to take into consideration is that we found support at previous levels of support and resistance, and we are actually getting supported perfectly. As we saw before, we were supported at this level also on the 8th of June. So very important to take into consideration. And this 22% drop on the Bitcoin price action is for sure something I personally think just very healthy for the uptrend to continue this accumulation before seeing a major move towards the upside getting started. And I potentially think that we will see not just some type of move getting created, I think we will see a move of utmost importance getting started afterwards. That is also why I would like to enable the MACD to take a look at what the MACD is telling us. So the MACD right now is currently on the lower part over here. I will be zooming out so you can have a better look as well. And what you're seeing is actually that the MACD had a crossover at this period in time. And right now, we are seeing once again the MACD having a crossover. Did not have a crossover, and this actually created this major downward momentum. But eventually, right now, the MACD indicator lines are quite close to each other, and I personally think that if Bitcoin holds strong above this level of support at $30,429 or $30,535, a little bit higher, for sure this is very, very important for Bitcoin, because if Bitcoin's price actions hold strong above this level, we will for sure eventually see the MACD having a crossover within 48 hours and creating a momentum towards the upside once again, and that will be very important to take a look at. So I'm personally waiting for a retest of the $30,000 level to see afterwards a crossover on the MACD, and also the Bitcoin price action breaking below the dotted line on the RSI, as you can see over here, before we will be heading further up and seeing a reversal getting started, heading once again back up to the price where we saw Bitcoin trade last week at approximately $40,000 or $41,000. So for sure, very important for everyone who is right now trying to accumulate more Bitcoin. I think right now is a perfect time to actually buy Bitcoin and add more to your positions if you are right now starting a position. And otherwise, if you just want to accumulate more Bitcoin for your portfolio and holding it in the long term, I think it is for sure right now the right time and place to buy Bitcoin for sure. And what I wanted to look at as well is something very important, and that is, let's take a look at the daily time frame, and actually let's take a look at the weekly time frame. And on the weekly time frame, I would like to tell you that we are still getting supported by the EMA ribbon even after we saw this major drop towards the downside. And for sure, a lot of people think the weekly time frame is not as important, but I think, as I said before, how bigger the candles are, or how more time a candle actually significates, how more important the overall trend will be. And right now we are getting supported by the EMA ribbon, and I think for sure on the weekly time frame you do not want to see Bitcoin break even further down below the $30,000 535, because otherwise you will see the EMA ribbon eventually reversing the trend and the shorts taking over the longs, and for sure after that we will see a major move towards the downside getting started. And that is why I personally think that if we stay above the $30,000, the EMA ribbon weekly will for sure support the Bitcoin price action. And let's take a look a little bit further, and I would like to enable actually something very important, and that is the bull market support band. And why I want to show you this is because it is of utmost importance for Bitcoin to break above this red line on the upper part of the bull market support band. And why this is of utmost importance is because right over here you are seeing the 20-week moving average, and this is the SMA moving average. And once we break above this level, we will for sure see Bitcoin once again going parabolically towards the upside. But right now we currently have to break above this 20-week moving average before we will be able to head even further up and see a breakout above the 20-week SMA, get supported by it, and see a major potential move towards the upside. So if you are right now currently watching the Bitcoin price action, I think it is very important to take a look at the weekly time frame and take a look if it is possible for Bitcoin to break above this 20-week moving average, finding support on top of it and heading further up towards a retest of this 20-week SMA. Very important for the overall bull market. And I think once we break above it, it won't be serving as an overhead resistance, but it will be serving for sure as a support. And as we saw previously, it supported Bitcoin quite a while during the uptrend that we saw this year, but it has broken below it before, and it is for sure something, and it will just take a matter of time before we will see Bitcoin once again head above the 20-week SMA at approximately $48,000, and after that we will see a major breakthrough of Bitcoin's price action towards the upside getting started for sure. So the 20-week SMA, very important to take a look at, and the bull market support on the weekly time frame is for sure something you do not want to forget for the long term, but because eventually if we are going up and we are going to see a breakout above the 20-week SMA, where I'm talking about, you have to be ready before we will see a retest of that level and breaking above it, because afterwards there will be no time to hesitate, because the Bitcoin price action will for sure explode towards the upside. That's of course my personal opinion, but right now it is not quite there yet, and we have to be very careful for the overall market and see if Bitcoin will be supported at the $30,535 level. Also, let's take a look at the Bitcoin 4-hourly time frame. Let's take a look at the MACD and what it could possibly do within the next upcoming hours. So if we enable the MACD on the 4-hourly time frame, we are actually going to see that we are still in that downward momentum. That is for sure something I think it is very important. We saw this as well previously, and we would like to see this eventually crossing over once again to see upward momentum getting started. But this will take quite a while, because I think we will personally see first that crossover of the moving averages on the daily time frame before we will eventually see a momentum switch on the MACD. So the MACD right now is looking quite bearish if you ask me personally, and that is why I think it is not the right moment to actually purchase Bitcoin right now, because it is quite likely that you will be able to purchase Bitcoin at cheaper prices at approximately $30,000, and afterwards you will be seeing you will see more rewards if you wait a little bit longer for the purchase of Bitcoin, because currently I don't think Bitcoin will be able to break above all the bearish indicators that it's showing us for sure. So That's my personal opinion on Bitcoin. And if we take a look also at the Bitcoin SOPR, this is actually showing us how much people are currently holding Bitcoin and are selling their Bitcoin with major losses, or maybe not major losses, but they're selling their Bitcoin while they have a loss. And you can see that the SOPR during the past couple of weeks has been quite low. It has been under the 1 ratio, and that is once people start selling their Bitcoin with losses. And currently we are once again far below the SOPR 1 line, and that is actually telling us that most people are actually selling their Bitcoin in losses. And we have seen several spikes. For example, last week, once we saw that rally towards the upside getting started on the Bitcoin price action. But for sure, you want to see the SOPR once again break above the 1 line, that is the horizontal line, quite thick horizontal line in the middle, before it will see if price action towards the upside getting started, and people once again actually selling Bitcoin and getting a lot of rewards by doing so, and selling with a lot of profit, as you could see at approximately the 28th of December, when lots of people sold their Bitcoin with major profits. And this also was the case, for example, on the 6th of April. And what I personally think is more important than the peaks on the SOPR, I think it is more important to take a look at when people are actually selling their Bitcoin with losses, and that is currently occurring during the past few weeks. We have seen multiple touch points towards it. We have seen multiple spikes towards the downside of the 1 line. Multiple times people are selling their Bitcoin with losses, and this is telling me that this is the perfect opportunity to accumulate more Bitcoin, because once people are selling the Bitcoin with losses, it's the perfect opportunity for you to accumulate Bitcoin and see an actual good risk versus reward, because you want to be buying Bitcoin once other people are selling their Bitcoin for sure. And that is why I wanted to discuss the SOPR once again, so you do not forget to take a look at the SOPR during the upcoming days and actually see the SOPR giving you the information you need to purchase Bitcoin. And once I see a major spike towards the downside getting started, I think this is the most important time to actually accumulate more Bitcoin, because this is just in a matter of time you will see that this will reward you for sure, because you will be eventually the one selling your Bitcoin above the 1 and taking profits of your purchase. So that is something very important to take a look at. And I wanted to discuss something very quickly, because if you are right now watching this live stream and if you want me to give you my personal opinion on a cryptocurrency of your own choice, do not forget to place a comment in the comment section and I will try to take a look at it for sure. Also, let's take a look at something different on the Bitcoin daily chart. What I think it's very important to take a look at, and is actually something over here. What we are seeing is the MVT, and what I want to take a look at the MVT is actually because here right now you're also seeing once people are actually selling their Bitcoin with losses, and the MVT during the past couple of weeks actually showed us several times that the Bitcoin price action had been sold, that a lot of people were selling their Bitcoin with major losses, and that is once you see the small white indicator inside of the orange line. And what I think is very important about this indicator is that this is showing you, as well as the SOPR, once people are actually decided to sell their Bitcoin and they do not want to be holding their Bitcoin any longer, and they decide just to sell their Bitcoin and sell their Bitcoin without profits. And I think this is not a good choice to make, only if you actually need your money. But as I'm saying always, you do not want to invest with money that you are actually do not want to, or you are not able to miss. So you want to invest with money you are able to just place inside of Bitcoin for several months, maybe eventually years, to see a major profit eventually come from your investment. And these people are thinking just way too much in the short term, and that is why they're getting wrecked and selling their Bitcoin with major losses. And if you are right now one of these persons actually who sold their Bitcoin and then want right now to accumulate once again Bitcoin and try for sure to see a major gain out of your purchase, I think right now you are in the correct place and time. Once we see a retest of the $30,535 level, you will for sure see that that is a perfect time to accumulate Bitcoin and to eventually see a major gain for the upcoming weeks. And you will get rewarded by actually purchasing Bitcoin once again, as am I right now also purchasing Bitcoin for sure. So the MVT, I'm personally waiting for once again a white indicator on the MVT. As you could see, once you see white indicators, they are actually telling you as well that the price action of Bitcoin will most likely go towards the upside. We saw that as well over here. Afterwards, we saw this major gain on the Bitcoin price action of approximately 20%, and it happened quite a few times earlier. But I think you want to see the Bitcoin price action eventually break above this line, thin line in the middle, because if you break above it afterwards, which most people will actually be selling their Bitcoins in profits, and that will for sure be eventually what you are aiming for. So the overall market has a major potential to sell their Bitcoin in profit. So you want to accumulate more Bitcoin right now. That is my personal opinion. And if we are heading even further down, I would like to show you where the possible price target is going to be. So if we take a look at the chart right now and we enable, for example, a Fibonacci retracement, this chart, as you can see, is quite empty. I haven't drawn a lot of support and resistance lines. That's because this line is for my patterns and other type of outcomes on the chart. So that is why I personally did not draw all levels of support and resistance, and that is why I will be placing a Fibonacci level instead to take a look at where you could possibly be finding support and resistance once we see a breakout towards the downside occur. So as you can see over here, we are currently trading at these levels, and what I think is of utmost importance is that the 0.618 level is at $30,500, and that is for sure as well telling us that it is of utmost importance level of support, and that it is very likely that Bitcoin will get supported by this level. We broke below the 0.5 level of support once we saw this price actions towards the downside getting started, and I personally think that this level of support at 0.618 Fibonacci will for sure hold strong. But let's say, due to the fact that we broke out of this parallel channel, we will be measuring this parallel channel to see what the potential breakout towards the downside is going to look like. And a potential breakout towards the downside would be a potential breakout like similar to this. I will be placing it just like that, and that would be a breakout of approximately, let's take a look, 21.5%. So 21% breakout towards the downside would lead to Bitcoin heading towards the $26,262, and that is for sure something I think it is not very likely to occur, especially because the indicators such as the relative strength index is showing us that Bitcoin is exhausted and won't be able to break all the way down towards the $26,000, because the relative strength index will be breaking below the dotted white line, and eventually we'll see Bitcoin recover. But I think it is more likely to head towards the 0.618 level, retest that level, find support on top of it, and once again stay in between the two levels what I've talked about previously, and that is in between the $30,535 and the $42,000 level right over here. So in between the orange box and the white line on the upper part over here. So I think these two are very important for the upcoming weeks. And as I said before, I actually expected Bitcoin to break once again down towards the downside instead of breaking above it, because this was actually the very first retest on the daily time frame of the EMA ribbon, as I showed you before, and that is something of utmost importance. So let's take a look at Ethereum as well, but before doing so, I would like to show you the Discord server. The Discord server is a place where you will be actually all time updated about videos, tweets about the crypto Terra community, but you will also be able to exchange your knowledge with others inside of the server. And if you go right now to the description link down below, you will be able to just click on the link and join the Discord server to get access to this community. And you just have to follow the steps on the verification of new user, and you will be able to join this Discord server in a matter of minutes. So that's something I wanted to point out. And let's take a look a little bit further to the Ethereum compared to the Bitcoin chart. Before doing so, I will take a sip of my water. You might have noticed that my voice is quite sore. That is because during last week I was ill and I wasn't able to actually upload videos due to the fact that I did not feel quite well. So I'm very sorry for that. For people who have watched my previous live stream and thought, why isn't he posting anything at all? That's because I did not feel quite well during last week, and I still have quite a sore throat from that problem. What we are seeing, I think, is very interesting. We were seeing this pattern playing itself out on the on the Ethereum compared to Bitcoin chart, and I was very pumped about this pattern, as you might have noticed previously during the live streams. And I think this is for sure a pattern you wanted to take into consideration. We saw that there were multiple touch points on the horizontal level of support, but also there were multiple touch points already on the downward sloping resistance line of this descending triangle. And due to the fact that the previous momentum was towards the upside, it was very likely that on the longer time frame we would have seen a major breakout towards the upside occur. So right now we are still very close to this horizontal level of support that is currently serving as a major level of resistance, and that is why I would like to talk about the moving averages, the MACD and the RSI. So currently we broke below the 50-day moving average on the Ethereum compared to Bitcoin chart, and we are getting supported by actually nothing at all right now. We broke below this horizontal level of support. This is right now serving as a major level of resistance, but as you can see previously, we might be getting supported by the support of this particular candle over here and the resistance of this major candle towards the upside, but further we are not getting supported by any major level of support as one of the support lines would have shown us due to previous data in the past. So right now we are supporting right now Ethereum is able to just stay underneath this horizontal level of support, but also if it breaks even further down, the 100-day moving average will be serving as a major level of support. And also this level of support at 0.057 Bitcoin will be a level you have to take into consideration for the Bitcoin strength compared to for the Ethereum strength compared to Bitcoin. Very sorry for that. To maintain itself on top before heading even further up or down. But to be able to see what it could possibly do, we have to take a look at the MACD. And the MACD on the daily time frame actually had a crossover several days ago on the 9th of June. And after that, we saw a major decline compared to Bitcoin. This actually took place for quite a while. As you could see, it started on the 8th of June, and we saw several days the price action, the strength compared to Bitcoin decreasing. We were able to find support on top of this level of horizontal support, and we were unfortunately breaking below this level just yesterday. This is also due to the major crash on the Bitcoin price action. And what I'm personally waiting for is for Ethereum to be able to see a crossover on the MACD once again occur, to see eventually the Ethereum price action compared to Bitcoin go up once again. And if this happens, we will for sure see the Ethereum strength once again entering this descending triangle. So what I want actually to tell you about this descending triangle is that if Ethereum holds strong at this level, it is very possible to draw this triangle a little bit different. But if Ethereum breaks down all the way towards a retest of the 100-day moving average and finding support on top of it, that is the yellow thin line that you're seeing over here, that will for sure mean that this pattern is actually getting broken, and that you will most likely see a major move towards the downside getting started, and maybe not even a crossover will occur on the MACD, but we will see even more momentum towards the downside getting started. That is not something that I personally think, but something you would like to take into consideration if you are interested in Ethereum. And this for sure will also have an effect in the Ethereum price action compared to the US dollar. So let's take a look at the RSI and how the RSI is currently looking. So we saw previously that the RSI was trading far above the dotted line on the upper part of the purple box over here. And eventually the RSI dropped down below, and we saw as well that the strength compared to Bitcoin decreased very rapidly, retesting this horizontal level of support. So currently we stayed in between the purple box where the RSI likes to trade for sure, and I think it is very important to take into consideration that the RSI, once it breaks below the dotted line, it is very likely that you will see eventually a reversal once again taking place and the strength compared to Bitcoin increasing. So if Ethereum breaks down, finds support on the 100-day moving average, for sure we will be breaking down below this dotted white line on the lower part of the RSI, and that will be eventually giving Ethereum strength to be able to find support on top of it and retest this horizontal level of resistance where we are currently trading underneath. But for sure this level of resistance is of utmost importance due to the fact that we were supported several times on top of it, so it is a major level of resistance, and if Ethereum is not able to break above it, you will see that the 50-day moving average will also serve as a major level of resistance as it did previously as well, and that is something you would like to take into consideration, because you could see over here that the 50-day moving average actually was a major level of resistance for a couple of days before we broke below this horizontal level of support. So this is the Bitcoin price action on the daily time frame, and let's take a look at the Bitcoin. This is the Ethereum compared to Bitcoin, and let's take a look at the EMA ribbon. The EMA ribbon on the 4-hourly time frame, Ethereum broke below it just several days ago, and it retested the EMA ribbon multiple times. And the EMA ribbon did reject Ethereum several times, and right now once the trade tried to break above the EMA ribbon, it got rejected once again, and we broke below that horizontal level of support. For sure the EMA ribbon is serving as a major level of resistance right now, overhead resistance, but as you can see also on the 4-hourly time frame, the RSI is looking quite good because we are trading on the lowest part over there. So if we see the Ethereum strength compared to Bitcoin decrease and Ethereum once again heading towards this level of support over here, also the RSI will be breaking below the dotted line, and for sure we will see eventually a recovery, and also the strength compared to Bitcoin increasing for the Ethereum price action. So very important to take a look at what the RSI is going to do, but also let's take the MACD into consideration. So we are seeing the MACD had a crossover several hours ago at approximately 8 a.m. on 21 of June, so yesterday morning as well. When we saw the crash of Bitcoin, we saw the MACD having a crossover, and afterwards we saw downward momentum getting started. And as you can see over here, the momentum indicator is actually heading towards a crossover once again. And if this occurs, for sure Ethereum will be heading back up once again, retesting the EMA ribbon and retesting the horizontal level of resistance. What I think is of utmost importance is if this indicator will give Ethereum enough strength, we will for sure see a momentum towards the upside getting started on the Ethereum compared to Bitcoin chart, and eventually as well on the USD chart, Ethereum gaining once again a little bit of gaining once again their fair share. And you can see that on the 4-hourly time frame, this pattern is not actually very well placed, because I wanted to take a look at the daily time frame once I draw, because if you take a look at the daily time frame and a pattern plays itself out on the daily time frame, it has more significance. And you could see that over here we had already seen a retest of this level compared to Bitcoin before, once it broke below it. So I think it is very healthy looking right now on the Ethereum compared to Bitcoin chart. For sure, all indicators are showing that the Ethereum price action will right now for the upcoming hours be towards the downside, but I think eventually within 48 hours we will see a reversal getting started, and we will see Ethereum once again go up and get inside of this descending triangle. And let's take a look at Ethereum compared to the US dollar. What I think is very interesting over here is actually something very different than what you're actually used to. And what I realized is that you are not able to see the chart as I wanted you to see it. So it is quite possible that you were not able to see the EMA ribbon and everything as I was talking while I was talking about it. So I will be placing the chart just like this, a little bit further up. And I think right now most people will be able to see the chart more or less the way I do as well. So very sorry for the technical inconvenience. I did not realize this was something you were not able to see. And let's take a look at the Ethereum price action compared to the US dollar. So you could see over here, I think this is something very important to take into consideration. That is the white uptrend line that I draw over here. We saw multiple touch points on this ascending support line, and just 4 days ago we were breaking below this upward sloping support, and currently we are finding resistance by this line over here. And what you're seeing as well, I think something more important, is that we broke outside of this symmetrical triangle, and that is very likely that we will be heading even further down. So let's measure this symmetrical triangle and take a look at what is actually going to be the price target for Ethereum if we see a minor decrease in its price action. So this is a major move towards the downside, as you can see over here, and that would be a move of potentially 52%, and I think that is for sure unrealistic, because I don't think the Ethereum price action will be anytime soon heading 52% towards the downside. Yes, we broke below that major level of support at the orange box, where I've talked about for sure many times before. But what I think it is very likely to occur is that the Ethereum compared to US dollar price is going further down towards the 1732 level of support over here before it will be able to head even further up. What I will be doing as well to show you why I personally think so is placing this Fibonacci retracement starting in January. So let's take a look where January is. So this is the 2nd of January. So I will be selecting the 2nd of January on the Ethereum price action all the way towards its all-time high on the 12th of May. And what you can see over here is actually something very good to take a look at, and that is that we broke below the 0.618 Fibonacci level at $137, and of course we could be possibly heading right now towards the 0.786 level of Fibonacci at $1,527. I personally think this level in between the $1,732 and $1,549 is very likely to occur during the next upcoming days. But I personally think as well that it is likely that we won't be seeing Ethereum head even further down, because we had already seen the major movement towards the downside on the Bitcoin chart. But as I said previously, we are still seeing that Bitcoin cross of the moving averages on the daily time frame, and I think that is for sure that cross will for sure have a lot of influence on what the market is going to do during the next upcoming hours. And that is something I will be monitoring very closely, because that would eventually mean that you will be able to purchase Ethereum and Bitcoin at lower prices than where they are already at, before we will see a trend reversal getting started and a major move towards the upside getting created. As I talked before about this, let's take about this article where you could see that the stock to flow out ratio is actually predicting the Bitcoin price going up all the way towards approximately 100k at the end of 2021. So something you would like to take into consideration. And if you would like to read this article, it's down on Cointelegraph, and I think it has a very good look at both sides of the story, the bearish and also the bullish side of the story. So I think it is for sure very important to take a look at this article right now. So we are going down. I personally think this 52% move is just absolutely insane and crazy and won't occur for sure on the Ethereum price action, but that we will be finding support either on the $1,732 level or on the $1,549 level before we will be heading further. So we are right now on the 4-hourly time frame, and I would like to enable the EMA ribbon, and for sure the EMA ribbon will be serving as a major level as overhead resistance. Unfortunately, it is not loading right now, so I will take a look at the comment section, and we are seeing at CGS Simons. Welcome to the live stream, and let's take a look at what you're saying. We will see the bottom when Elon starts twerking. So yeah, when Elon enters the cryptocurrency space, I think for sure we will see once again a major move towards the upside getting created. But Elon is just, as I said before, an individual just as you and I am individuals as well. And his impact on the cryptocurrency space will be for sure for the better, and will be for sure increasing the price of Ethereum and Bitcoin and all other types of cryptocurrencies. But I think for sure that not just Elon will be able to solve the problem of what we are seeing currently occurring in the market. And as I told you, we want to see Bitcoin break above that bull market support band before we will see major movements towards the upside getting started. So if you're interested in what my personal opinion is about that, just take a look at, let's say, 50 minutes previous to where we are currently at. And let's say Ethereum won't be breaking anywhere further due to the fact that it found support on this level once we saw this decline in the price action, and right now we are currently trading at approximately the same level. So if we take a look at where we're currently at, Ethereum got already rejected by the EMA ribbon several times, and meaning the EMA ribbon is a major level of overhead resistance, and the EMA ribbon, we will have to break above it before Ethereum will see an increase in its price action occur. So that is for sure something you would like to take into consideration, and that is also why it's quite likely that the EMA ribbon will push the price of Ethereum even further towards the downside before it will be able to break above it. That is of course my personal opinion, but I think a lot of people do agree with me right now at this current time and pace that we will see still a minor decline before we will be able to see a consolidation at that level and head back up afterwards. I'm not saying that I'm bearish right now, but I'm just saying that it is very likely that we will see still a minor move towards the downside occur before we will be heading back up once again. And that is also why I think that Bitcoin will be retesting that level at approximately $30,535 before we will be able to head back up. So if we take a look at the daily time frame and enable the moving averages, what you're seeing is that we are underneath the 200-day moving average. And the 200-day moving average is, for my personal opinion, something very important to take into consideration. And I think it is just quite unfortunate that Ethereum was not supported by the 200-day moving average, something that I personally thought that would occur once Ethereum went further down towards the $2,055 level. I personally thought that that would be a level where Ethereum would be holding strong for sure, just for a while, due to the fact that also the 200-day moving averages was just underneath. But as you could see, we saw this major move towards the downside getting started, and right now we are currently trading underneath the 200-day moving average, and this moving average will also serve as a major level of resistance currently, due to the fact that we are trading underneath the moving average. So something you would like to see is to see the price action of Ethereum actually breaking above the 200-day moving average, finding support on top of it, and eventually breaking above inside of the orange box, trading perhaps in between the orange box for a while before we will see a major move towards the upside getting started. But if we break all the way down to $1,732, we will have to trade above this level before we will be able to break above the 200-day moving average eventually. So this is something I wanted to take a look at right now. And let's go back to the 4-hourly time frame, enable the RSI, and take a look at what we're seeing over here. So on the RSI, what we're seeing is actually nothing, for my personal opinion, very interesting. We are seeing actually a lower low getting created. What I think is very important, you would like to take that into consideration, is that we are actually on the lower part of the RSI, meaning if we break underneath the dotted line of the purple area, it is very likely that we will see the strength increase and also the price action of Ethereum head towards the upside. So the RSI is looking very good, and this could mean that if Ethereum breaks even further towards the downside, all the way towards the $1,732, that it will eventually see a move towards the upside afterwards getting started. And to confirm this, let's take a look at the MACD. And what is the MACD actually telling us? The MACD is telling us that it is also very likely to see a crossover within the next 48 hours occur, and that could possibly also give Ethereum the boost needed to re-enter the orange box and break above the 200-day moving average on the daily time frame. So that is what I wanted to show you for sure right now. I really hope you are enjoying the content so far. And if you would like me to take a look at a cryptocurrency of your own personal taste, for example, BNB, Dogecoin, maybe Polkadot, just place it down below in the comment and I would be really pleased to take a look at it for sure. Otherwise, I will be taking a look at a news article over here that I had just stored to show you guys. But before doing so, let's take a look at this over here. This is a tweet of Glassnode Alerts. If you are not following them, I think it is very good to do so, because they're giving lots of very crucial information about cryptocurrencies overall. And what this tweet is all about is about the number of Ethereum addresses and profits. What you could see over here is that the number of Ethereum addresses and profits is actually all the way down. And you can see they tweeted, Ethereum, number of Ethereum addresses and profits, 7-day moving average, just reached a 1-month low of 53 million. So very important. There are a lot of Ethereum addresses actually, and a lot, well, they're not having that much profits. They're actually reach a 1-month low, and I think that is just something very steep and just sad to look at. If people got wrecked by the crash after we saw last week that major momentum towards the upside getting started. But I think it's also quite good because once you see this type of patterns occur, you could see that also in the beginning of 2021, on the 1st of April, you saw that also a lot of addresses were not in profits on the Ethereum, on this Ethereum, just on this chart where you could see the Ethereum number of addresses in profit, you could see that a lot of profits were lost on the 1st of April. But afterwards, you could see that that was a perfect buying opportunity due to the fact that the people that bought on that period in time afterwards were able to make huge profits. And that is also something I think will occur right now. And that is why I think that personally, once we break below this line at approximately, let's take a look, let's say 1,700, 1,000, yeah, well, $1,800 and $800. If we break below this, we will see even more addresses in losses and less addresses actually in profits on the Ethereum. And that is for sure a perfect buying opportunity, because you want to be buying Ethereum once other people are actually losing their faith in that project. And I'm not being negative at all, but I just want to say that you would like to trade against the trend. And right now, it is just a perfect example that if you would like to buy Ethereum, this is telling you that you could see a major return afterwards. You could see over here on the 1st of April, you had a similar, something very similar going on. A lot of people were still, not that much people were actually seeing profits on their Ethereum. And if you bought at that dip, you saw afterwards a major move towards the upside getting started, and also you could have seen a major profit out of that trade if you bought at that period in time. And right now you are seeing once again that opportunity taking place, and I think you do not want to miss out on that opportunity to buy Ethereum right now and trade it and hold it all the way towards its new all-time high above where it has been before. So this is something I wanted to show you. If you would like me to take a look at the cryptocurrency of your personal taste, do not forget to do so. And I would like to take a look right now at a cryptocurrency I in general like very much, and that is Polkadot. So we are taking a look at Polkadot over here, and what we are seeing is that the chart is quite, well, loading quite slowly. And we see also here Polkadot broke below the two levels of support and resistance of major importance, and those are the orange boxes. And I think this is very important to take a look at. And let's take a look at the EMA ribbon. So we broke below the EMA ribbon on the 17th of June. We retested the EMA ribbon on the Polkadot compared to the US dollar chart. Afterwards, we got rejected and we broke all the way below this orange box. And currently we are seeing that this 4-hourly candle is the first candle actually breaking below this level of support at approximately $15.47. And why I think this is very important is because you could see that we were seeing that rejection of the EMA ribbon, but we got supported by this level 3 times before we were breaking below it. And I think it is very important to maintain the Polkadot price action above this level of $15.70 to 78, due to the fact that this would serve as a major level of support and will eventually be a very healthy place for Polkadot to actually trade sideways, accumulate, and break out towards the upside once it's ready, and once Bitcoin is also going up for sure. But right now Bitcoin is not holding very strong. Bitcoin could possibly break towards the downside, and that's also why I would like to see where possibly Polkadot will be heading to. So let's enable the RSI and let's take a look at where the RSI is currently at. You can see that the RSI is actually below the dotted line on the Polkadot chart. This is actually quite good to see due to the fact that once the RSI is below the dotted line, it is very likely that we will just see the strength increase and also the price action increase afterwards. It is something we saw previously as well. You could see over here we were trading near to the dotted line on the lower part of the RSI. Afterwards we saw an increase of the strength, and we saw as well an increase of the price action of Polkadot, and that is for sure something that could possibly occur right now. But if we see Bitcoin break even further down below, the RSI will be going even further down below the dotted line. But for sure I think that is healthy due to the fact that if it happens, Polkadot will be finding support on top of the $12.61 and head back up afterwards, due to the fact that the RSI will be re-entering the purple area. So the RSI is looking quite good for Polkadot. And let's enable as well the MACD. So if we take a look at the MACD, you could see that we saw a crossover occur on the 16th of June. We have seen major momentum towards the downside afterwards. We saw a crossover occur almost at the 20th of June. But unfortunately, it did not occur, and we saw even more momentum towards the downside getting started. And what I'm personally waiting for is for a crossover of the MACD to occur to see as well a second push towards the upside getting started, not only by the RSI but as well by the MACD, the momentum indicator that will be eventually deciding if the Polkadot has enough strength to break above the EMA ribbon, find support on top of the EMA ribbon, and eventually see the longs taking over the shorts. So it has to break above the EMA ribbon, find support on top of it before it will be heading even further. And what I think right now is of utmost importance is for Polkadot to stay actually above or inside the orange box with the 4-hourly candle that is forming itself right now. So this is just on the 4-hourly time frame compared to the US dollar. Let's take a look at the daily time frame, and let's enable the moving averages. So if we enable the moving averages, we disable the EMA ribbon. I'm sorry for that. You can see that we saw a major momentum towards the downside getting started. We broke below the 200-day moving average. We found it quite difficult to actually break above the 200-day moving average. Once we did so, we got rejected immediately, 2 times actually, and right now we're still trading underneath all 3 moving averages. And what you're also seeing is something similar to Bitcoin, and that is that a dead cross might occur anytime soon. So if the dead cross plays out towards the downside on Bitcoin, you could possibly see as well a dead cross occurring on the Polkadot chart, and that would mean that the price action is going even further down to where I think it will be heading is the $12.61 level of support over here. What I think is quite unfortunate but still looking very good, because if it stays above this level and is able to accumulate, it will eventually break out towards the upsides once we see the RSI re-entering the purple area, and as well once we see the MACD actually having a crossover on the 4-hourly time frame. And what you could see on the daily time frame is that we saw a crossover occur just yesterday, and this crossover is starting downward momentum. So that is for sure unfortunate, because on the daily time frame the momentum indicator is telling us that we will be very likely to see momentum towards the downside getting started, and that is for sure telling me that we will be heading towards that $12.61 level before we will be able to get back up and be supported by all the indicators on the Polkadot chart compared to the US dollar. Let's take a look at the Polkadot compared to Bitcoin and what we are currently seeing over there. You could see that we broke below this upward sloping support. Once we retested the upward sloping support, we got rejected, and we haven't retested that support once anymore. We broke below the orange box on the Polkadot compared to Bitcoin chart as well, and right now we are currently seeing that on the daily time frame the candle right now that's forming itself is also breaking below this level of support for Polkadot, and that is for sure very, very unfortunate, because this could possibly mean that we will see even more action towards the downside getting started. And if you enable also the MACD, you will see that compared to Bitcoin, a crossover did occur on the 10th of June, and we saw major momentum towards the downside afterwards, but that the crossover did not occur even once we traded sideways above this levels of support above the orange box. And once we broke below it, we saw that the MACD crossover lines are further apart and are actually not crossing over anytime soon. So the crossover on the MACD on the Bitcoin chart is not likely to occur, and this is also why I personally think it is very likely that we will be heading towards this level of support underneath the orange box during the upcoming days, finding support on top of that level. And as you can see as well, all three moving averages are above us and serving as major levels of resistance for sure, due to the fact that the 200-day moving average was a stronghold level of support previously and will serve as a major level of resistance right now due to the fact that we broke below it. So that is quite unfortunate for the Polkadot price action or action compared to Bitcoin. And let's take a look at the 4-hourly time frame. Let's disable the moving averages, let's enable the EMA ribbon, and let's take a look at the chart over there. So the EMA ribbon actually looking quite similar to the EMA ribbon of other coins that we have already discussed, due to the fact that we have retested the EMA ribbon twice already. Once we broke above it, we were unfortunately rejected. We broke down below it, and once we tried to retest the EMA ribbon several times, we got rejected by it immediately. So for Polkadot's price action compared to Bitcoin to go even further up, we have to break above the EMA ribbon, find support on top of it, the longs taking over the shorts, and eventually seeing the price action towards the upside getting started. Right now, this 4-hourly candle is breaking underneath this level of support of the orange box. That is also due to the fact that we saw as well the downward momentum on the MACD. But let's take a look at the RSI over here, and what you're seeing is as well that the RSI on the Bitcoin 4-hourly time frame is far below the dotted line on the lower area of the purple box of the RSI, and this will for sure tell us that if we break towards the downside, we won't be heading even that much further, due to the fact that the RSI would like to re-enter the orange box, and once it does so, also the strength compared to Bitcoin for Polkadot will increase, and it might be able to re-enter the orange box, and that is something for me personally of utmost importance. So thank you very much for watching right now to the live stream. I really appreciate it, and if you are liking the live stream so far, do not forget to give me a thumbs up down below. I would really appreciate that, and that is just something that I don't have words for. So let's take a look. Can you check Terrafuel and Cardano? So from GoTube or GoTube, I'm sorry for the pronunciation. I might be possible that your name is pronounced differently, but thank you. Let's take a look at Terrafuel and Cardano. So Cardano is somewhere around here. I saw it here. And what we're seeing on the Cardano price action, what I want to show you is actually something very interesting on the Bitcoin chart, and that is, I think, something of utmost importance. Because if we take a look at the Bitcoin chart, and for example, if we go towards the weekly candles, we go to the weekly candles and we see over here, or well, let's say daily candles. Daily candles are better, weekly candles are a little bit too big. But you can see that we saw Cardano having that major pump towards the upside. We saw the price, the strength compared to Bitcoin increase. And what I think personally is very interesting is that Cardano actually is getting supported by this orange box for quite a while. It traded in between the orange box and this level of resistance over here on the upper part. And right now we broke currently underneath the orange box, and you can see that the daily candle of today got started underneath the orange box. For sure, not something I'm very pumped about, and I personally think that you could see a major decline on the Cardano compared to Bitcoin chart. But Cardano is also a coin that is always holding very strong compared to Bitcoin in comparison to other type of cryptocurrencies, and that is why I think that it is also very likely that we won't be seeing Cardano heading all the way back down towards this level of support where we were previously finding resistance over here by this top, and also once we tried to break out and the breakout before the breakout occurred towards the upside. And I don't think that is very likely to happen. And why I don't think so is something I would like to show you right away. If you place a trend line like this, for example, on the Cardano chart, you will see that you have multiple touch points on this upward sloping support line. And if we see a breakout occur towards the downside, I personally think that Cardano will for sure get supported by this trend line. This trend line is showing us the overall pace of Cardano, and I think for sure this will be holding strong. And yes, if Cardano heads back down right now towards those levels, it will be heading towards the level I discussed just a second ago, and that's the level of resistance, previous resistance in the past. But I personally think that it will stay where it's currently at before we will see a major decrease in the strength compared to Bitcoin. But of course, this has also to do with the Bitcoin price action. And as I told you before, you have to monitor very closely what the debt cross is going to do on the daily time frame. If we are going to see the Bitcoin price action head even further down, because if that happens, it might very well occur that Cardano will be seeing a retest of this upward sloping support. For sure, I think it is very healthy for Cardano if this occurs. I don't think that is actually something negative at all. Cardano already holds strong compared to Bitcoin quite good during the past couple of weeks, while we saw that major decrease in the price action of Bitcoin. And I think for sure a retest of this upward sloping support line will be very healthy if we do not break below this upward sloping support, because that would be actually serving as a touch point, as a confirmation of this uptrend, and that is just something that in the future will be holding strong as well for the price action compared to for the strength compared to Bitcoin. So Cardano looking very good if you ask me. I don't think it showed any type of weakness during the past weeks, and I think it is very healthy if you see a retest of this upward sloping support. Also, what you're seeing over here is that we broke below the 50-day moving average. This is something that did not occur any time before. You could see that, for example, previously, once you created a high compared to Bitcoin, it went back down, but it got supported by the 50-day moving average before it went even further up towards the upside. Quite unfortunate right now, we broke below the 50-day moving average that hold strong for quite a while. You could see over here that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 candles actually hold strong on top of this level, on top of the 50-day moving average, and right now we are trading underneath this level. But for sure, the 100-day moving average will serve as a major level of support, and that is why I personally think it's also more likely to find support on top of the 100-day moving average, trade sideways, eventually touch this upward sloping support, then heading all the way down at once and finding support at a level approximately around here, breaking below the 100-day moving average. That will serve for sure as a major level of support, because you can see that just the 50-day moving average already served as major support in the past, but also as major support right now once we saw the decrease in price for Ethereum, for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all other types of cryptocurrency, also for Cardano, but it was holding strong on top of the 50-day moving average, and that is for sure very important. So let's take a look at the MACD. What the MACD is telling us is that we saw a crossover occur on the 22nd of May. We saw major momentum towards the downside getting started. That also was very well seen on the price action actually, because well, at the beginning we did not see, we saw actually the price action increase even with downward momentum on the MACD, but afterwards we saw that once the indicators did not see a crossover occur with upward momentum getting started, the downward momentum pushed the strength compared to Bitcoin towards the downside, and that is something you are seeing over here as well. So eventually a crossover on the MACD will occur, and that will be for sure pushing once again Cardano towards the upside on the strength compared to Bitcoin. So further, let's take a look as well at the RSI on the daily time frame. Why I would like to only discuss the daily time frame compared to Bitcoin is because I would like to head towards the US dollar chart as well. And what you're seeing over here is that on the daily time frame, the RSI is actually heading towards the lower part of the purple box, and once it breaks below the dotted line on the lower part, it is very likely to occur that the price, the strength compared to Bitcoin will increase, and also you would see that back in the chart. So what my personal opinion right now compared to Bitcoin is that Cardano will be breaking down, will be retesting the 100-day moving average for the very first time after a long period of time. But if one does so, you will see as well the RSI breaking below the dotted line and eventually heading back up once again, and that will for sure also influence the strength compared to Bitcoin for Cardano, and it quite possibly will give Cardano the strength needed to once again retest this horizontal level of resistance of the orange box on the upper part where we did break below on today's candle. So let's go towards the Cardano compared to the US dollar chart, and let's take a look at the comments before doing so. So the comment section, GoTube 140 was my biggest buy, hoping to come back for sure. $1.40 is a level that Cardano is going to see once again. Do not hesitate, and please do not make any type of decisions based on what you're currently seeing, because eventually if you hold on to Cardano, you will see great potential. Let's see, returns. I think $1.40, that was at approximately, let's say, let's take a look, that was at around here. Well, 40 was here, and from that point on, if we take a look, you had, let's say, a 30% decrease in your portfolio, and I think that is something you don't want to worry about, because if you take a look at the Cardano price action, you could see that we saw major momentum towards the upside getting started, and Cardano traded for quite a while in between the $1.10, $1.40, $1.10, $1.40, $1.10, $1.40, and right now we are at the $1.10 level once again. We are retesting the 200-day moving average, but I think this level will be of utmost importance to stay above, due to the fact that we saw this major momentum in the past actually serving as a major level of support. So for sure for Cardano right now, I personally think it will be able to hold strong above the 200-day moving average and above the level of support at approximately $1.10, where it's currently trading above. And why I do think so is because in the past you could see this price action of Cardano trading on top, finding support on top of this level multiple times, and for sure that will be telling us that this level is a major stronghold for the Cardano price action. So the moving averages, we broke below the 150-day moving average. Right now we are finding support by the 200-day moving average, something I think is very expected by people who were holding Cardano, that it was very likely to hold strong above the 200-day moving average on the daily time frame. I did extend this downward sloping resistance line due to the fact that you would like to see Cardano breaking above this downward sloping resistance line, finding support on top of it before you will see a major move towards the upside getting created. So for Cardano currently, I think it is very good to see accumulation on top of the $1.10 level, eventually breaking above this downward sloping resistance, finding support on top of it, actually creating a trend reversal before you will see the price action of Cardano head even further up. For sure, the price action of Bitcoin is very important to see what is possibly going to occur on the Cardano chart, but I personally think it is quite good to know that the $1.10 level is a major stronghold, also due to the fact that you're seeing the 200-day moving average over here. So let's enable as well the MACD, and what the MACD is showing you is that we saw downward momentum getting started on the 6th of June. Afterwards, we saw a decline in the price action of Cardano, and right now the indicators are not anytime soon crossing over. So this is potentially saying that the price action will be heading even further down below. If it does so, I don't think that would be a very healthy setback for Cardano. And if this occurs, I would like to draw a next support line just over here. And why I'm drawing this support line over here is because you could see that before breaking above this support line, you were finding resistance by multiple candles at that level, and once we broke above it, you were supported before you were able to break even further up, and once you broke down further down, you were supported once again at that certain level. So if we see a breakout towards the downside occur on the Cardano price action, it is very likely to go to $0.95. I personally think that would still be healthy, but if you break below this level, I won't be very pumped about that at all. And it is very likely to occur to find support on top of that level and eventually see the crossover on the MACD occur, upward momentum getting created, and seeing the price action of Cardano breaking above this downward sloping resistance, finding support on top of it, and heading all the way back up towards that $1.40 price target, or eventually creating a new all-time high, what I have no certain doubt about, because I think that will for sure occur still in 2021. And if we take a look at this over here, oh, I did select the other chart, that's my bad, very sorry for that. I wanted to go to the 4-hourly time frame and enable the RSI. What you're seeing on the RSI is actually as well multiple touch points of this downward sloping resistance. But what I think is more important is to take a look at what the RSI is actually telling us right now. So we are right now trading underneath the dotted white line on the purple area, and that is for sure indicating that we will see an increase, or maybe the RSI re-entering the purple area. And as you could see, that will for sure give Cardano a minor strength to be able to stay above this level of support where we're currently at, and stay actually above the $1.10 level. So that is my personal opinion on Cardano, and something I wanted to tell you that I think is looking quite good for Cardano just for the upcoming hours. And also the MACD, you can see that on the 4-hourly time frame we are still a very long path to actually see a crossover occur, and that's for sure something I think will push the price even further down towards that 95-cent level, to be able to find support on top of it and accumulate before it will be able to break towards the upside. For sure, if we see a type of pattern play itself out, meanwhile, it is very likely that I will have to adjust my personal opinion and say it will be even breaking further down if also we see Bitcoin breaking below the $30,000. But I personally think that right now we are at the ultimate bottom for Bitcoin, for multiple type of coins, and for Cardano for sure. I think it is just a major buying opportunity at these levels. Even if it goes towards the 95 cents, I think that is just amazing buying opportunity for Cardano for sure. And You might disagree with me, but if you agree with me right now, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up down below, because that would be highly appreciated. And GodTube, I hope you are liking this so far. Don't forget to leave a comment. So personally, what my personal opinion is don't forget to see that retest of this, see that breakout above this downward sloping resistance, because that is actually your perfect buying opportunity. So if we break below towards the $95 that is also a great level of accumulation. But I personally would wait to see actually Cardano breaking out above this downward sloping resistance, finding support on top of it, because while you see this confirmation occur, that is your entry point. That is when you would like to buy Cardano. That is the safest way, because after that you will be very likely seeing Cardano heading back up for sure. And maybe it might be a pump of 10%, but it might also be a pump of 50% that will occur after that. And I think that is a very safe way to actually buy your cryptocurrencies once you see a trend reversal occur, due to the fact that if this occurs, if we break above this downward sloping resistance, you are actually confirming that the price will be heading towards the upside. So don't forget to do so. And if you're interested in actually purchasing cryptocurrencies, don't forget to use the link down below in the description, because you will be helping the channel by doing so, by signing up to the top 4 leverage trading exchanges down below. So thank you very much everyone for watching the videos right now. I really appreciate you, your effort. And let's take a look as well at what I'm personally thinking about Terrafuel. So oh no, but you wanted T-Fuel, so Terrafuel. Let's say that, but this is Terra token that I've right over here. For the people that do not know Terrafuel, Terrafuel is an amazing coin, rank 38 on CoinGecko. You can see that during the past 30 days, it still has a 51% pump towards the upside. And it is just absolutely crazy and insane to take a look at what it did during the past year. It had a 4,442 momentum towards the upside. And that is for sure the greatest return you could possibly see. And the charts looks during the past 90 days something similar to this, and you could see that it had a major drop during the past 7 days of approximately 23%, and during the past 24 hours it had a 19% drop, and that is very, very big. It's a major drop towards the downside, and that's also why I would like to take a look at this right away. So its current price is $42, and the market cap of Terrafuel is actually $2,235,384. So, oh, very sorry. No. This is not 2 million. This is 2 billion. I'm sorry for that. So this is a huge market cap. It still has it's ranked 38 coin, so it has a lot of potential. And let's take a look at what the price action is actually doing. T-Fuel. I must say, I haven't invested in Terrafuel yet. I do invest in Terra token, and I think that it's an amazing project for sure. So I am actually willing to purchase Terrafuel, but I'm waiting for the perfect buying opportunity. So let's take a look at Terrafuel compared to Bitcoin before we will be heading towards the Terrafuel compared to the US dollar chart. And if we take a look at Terrafuel over here, you are seeing that we saw a so let's take a look where it's possibly holding strong. So I'm very sorry, I do not have any type of support and resistance lines for you to show you, but let's draw a few to just have a greater look. So over here, I would place it at the end of this part here, on top of this level over here. This is as well a level of support and resistance for sure over here. here, here, on top of this before we saw the breakout towards its all-time high, and on the very top at that part over here. And lastly, I would like to draw a few more levels of support for if we see a major move towards the downside occur. So these are the levels of support and resistance that I'm drawing right now. And compared to Bitcoin, let's take a look at what it has been doing. So let's take a look at previous data. Let's go towards the weekly time frame to take a look at what the data is showing us. Unfortunately, we do not have even more data of the past before April. So I will be going towards the daily time frame. And it's not loading any more data either. So unfortunately, but what you could see is that we are exponentially breaking towards the upside. And what I think is very important is that Terrafuel is, yeah, for sure holding strong at this level where it's currently at. And why it does so is because you could see that previous price action is showing us that Terrafuel was able to hold strong at these levels and might be able to hold strong at these levels for sure once again. And let's enable the moving averages right now to take a look at where it's currently standing. You can see that the 50-day moving averages in the past served as a major level of support at these levels over here during the month of May and April. And for sure, this level of support will be very important if you see the price action of the strength compared to Bitcoin decrease. It is very likely that we will be finding support on top of the 50-day moving average. And as you can see, that is also approximately at the same place where we are seeing that support level of previous candles where they got supported as well. So very important to take this into consideration. And let's go towards the 4-hourly chart for Bitcoin. Because what I'm seeing over here is, I think, something very spectacular playing itself out. Because still, after this major drop, I'm still seeing something I think is very, very important to take into consideration. Because if you select this downward sloping resistance, I will be placing it a little bit better just in a couple of seconds. But if you select that just like this, and if you place a horizontal level of support at this level over here, you are seeing this descending triangle getting started. And yeah, for sure, I think this is a level, something you would like to take into consideration. And I think it is very, very healthy for Tether compared to Bitcoin to break even further down, to see a retest of this horizontal level of support and heading back up to a retest of this downward sloping resistance, because this descending triangle will possibly see a major breakout towards the upside occur, and that is something you do not want to miss out on. And this is also what I think is very interesting about Terrafuel, because if you see a retest of this horizontal level of support, this will be even a more significant pattern, and it will be very high likely to see a breakout occur in the future. So let's take a look at the EMA ribbon and what the EMA ribbon is actually telling us on the 4-hourly time frame. Before doing so, I will take a sip of my water. So you could see that Terrafuel broke below the EMA ribbon. It has done this before. You could see that after this major decline in the price action, it broke below the EMA ribbon. It got supported by the horizontal level of support, and it broke above the EMA ribbon for a short period of time before it broke below it once again. And right now you are seeing that the shorts are not yet taking over the longs on the EMA ribbon, but the EMA ribbon is already serving as a major level of resistance, overhead resistance, as you can see over here. Once we broke below the EMA ribbon, the EMA ribbon actually served as resistance. This candle tried to break out above it. You saw the wicks towards the up and towards the downside entering the EMA ribbon, but we saw that the candle afterwards actually saw the EMA ribbon as a level of resistance again, and we see right now that the price action is towards the downside. So the EMA ribbon will serve as a major level of resistance during the upcoming days and hours. And I think personally you will have to wait and see eventually Terrafuel once again heading towards this horizontal level of support, getting supported by it, accumulating at that particular place before it will be able to break above the EMA ribbon and find support on top of it, as it did in the past at this period in time over here. So very important to take into consideration that this might occur. And let's take a look as well at the RSI. As you are seeing here on the RSI, you are seeing something very important and very interesting, and you might have spotted it already as well, but we are seeing a bullish divergence, and a bullish divergence is for sure very, very important. And on the 4-hourly time frame, it is even more important, because on the 4-hourly time frame they are more significant than on the 1-hourly, 2-hourly, or any type of time frame that is less than 4 hours. You are seeing this upward slope. Oh no, this is just the worst color to show you this, because the RSI is purple as well, and I will be making it a bright blue line. So this bright blue line is showing you that we are creating a higher low on the chart, but on the RSI you can see very clearly there is a lower low getting created, and this is a bullish divergence for the Terrafuel strength compared to Bitcoin. And this is just very good to see, because this might probably mean that Terrafuel won't be retesting this horizontal level of support, but will be supported at the levels where it's currently trading at, and it will be able to break above the EMA ribbon. So if this occurs, very, very good to see. So yeah, I think this bullish divergence is something for sure very good to see on the Terrafuel chart. This could possibly mean that we will see a breakout of the EMA ribbon occur before we will retest the horizontal level of support, and that's for sure something very interesting. And also what you are seeing over here is that the RSI is actually at the very lowest end of the purple area, and also breaking almost underneath the dotted white line. And once this occurs, it is very likely that you will see, sorry for that, a pump towards the upside on the RSI, and that the strength of Terrafuel will increase also. So that would possibly mean that the breakout above the EMA ribbon will occur very likely sooner than expected, or sooner than what I thought would happen, sooner, before it will be retesting this horizontal level of support. Probably we will get rejected by the EMA ribbon, but that doesn't matter, because if we retest the horizontal level of support afterwards, we would already retest the EMA ribbon once, and that would help Terrafuel to be able to break above the EMA ribbon and find support on top of it, as it did before. So got to, because they don't touch the bottom of the RSI, Meats is fighting the drop. Yes. So a bullish divergence is something, if you are not familiar with it, I will explain it to you. A bullish divergence is just actually the RSI telling us exactly what you're saying, that it is fighting the drop. So it's actually reversal. It's a trend reversal. It's actually showing us or telling us that it's very likely that we will see the price action, or at this particular time, the strength of Terrafuel compared to Bitcoin increase instead of going down. So it is very likely that the strength compared to Bitcoin right now on the Terrafuel chart will increase due to the bullish divergence on the RSI. And to confirm, let's take a look at the MACD. And what you're seeing on the MACD is that unfortunately the MACD is still very there's still a lot of momentum towards the downside, but still the RSI bullish divergence is something that is, as you're saying very well, it's fighting the drop. So it's fighting even more downward momentum, and that would possibly also mean that the bullish divergence on the RSI will eventually give the chart enough strength to see a crossover of the MACD occur and upward momentum getting started, and afterwards if you see upward momentum getting started on the MACD, you will also see the price action or the strength compared to Bitcoin increase, and Terrafuel being able to break above the EMA ribbon and finding support on top of it once again. So let's go to Terrafuel compared to the US dollar. What we are seeing over here. So Terrafuel compared to the US dollar, very interesting to take a look at. Why I think it is very interesting to take a look at is because we are seeing that we are retesting that level of support that we have seen previously at 0.41 cents, and I think this is just amazing to see, because right over here you are seeing that possible descending triangle forming itself once again. So I won't be drawing the descending triangle over here because I think we would like to see where this could possibly be heading towards, and that is why I will be placing a Fibonacci retracement. This is the 20th of May. I would like to place it a little bit further down at the 31 of January. I will be placing my swing low towards swing high at its all-time high over here. And what you're seeing is that right now we are currently trading underneath the 0.382 Fibonacci level, and that is as well the golden pocket entry. And for sure, this is something very important because you would like to see actually the Terrafuel price action getting supported by this level over here. So if we enable the EMA ribbon on the US dollar chart, you will see that we have been rejected by we broke below it for sure. It's just loading a little bit slowly. I personally hope it will load, and yeah, you can see that the shorts are taking over the longs. We broke below the EMA ribbon, and the EMA ribbon will serve as a major level of resistance during the upcoming hours. But if we head even further down, we will for sure get supported by the 0.5 Fibonacci level at approximately 35 cents, due to the fact that previously we were supported at these levels during quite a long period of time, and I think that's very significant for sure. I think this is also a very healthy setback, because it is very likely to occur that a cryptocurrency breaks all the way down towards the 0.5 Fibonacci level, and I think that is still not something you would like to worry about. I think this is something that is just normal, and that you could possibly just see as a buying opportunity for sure. And that is also very likely to occur if we see Terrafuel retesting the horizontal level of support of this descending triangle on the Bitcoin chart. So take that into consideration, that it will be very likely to head towards the 0.5 Fibonacci level at 35 cents. So if you would like to accumulate more Terrafuel, I think this is the perfect level to do so. I think it is very likely to find support on top of that level. And let's enable as well the MACD to take a look at what possibly occurs over here. So the MACD is looking quite similar to the Bitcoin MACD, compared to Bitcoin MACD. And if a crossover occurs anytime in the future, let's say within 48 hours, upward momentum will get started, and that will for sure eventually push the price of Terrafuel once again towards the upside, and just actually save Terrafuel from a breakout towards even further down. So that is something very interesting to take a look at over here for the Terrafuel price action. Let's also enable actually the RSI to take a look at what the RSI is showing us. On the RSI, you are seeing over here a lower low and a lower low as well on the RSI. So on the US dollar chart, we are not seeing a bullish divergence as we saw on the RSI from Bitcoin, but it doesn't matter, because over here we are still seeing the RSI breaking below the dotted line on the lower part, and once it breaks below the dotted line on the lower area of the purple box, it will mean that eventually the RSI will try to re-enter the purple area, and once it does so, it will also give strength to Terrafuel to increase its price action and eventually see movement towards the upside getting started. So very interesting to take a look at. I think Terrafuel will be breaking down a little bit further towards the downside, just due to the fact that we are seeing a lot of indicators showing that Terrafuel is not holding very strong at this moment, but due to the fact that we are seeing the RSI on the lower part and we are seeing even a bullish divergence on the Bitcoin chart compared to Bitcoin chart, I think for sure we will be heading or towards the 1.35 level. Hold strong over there, accumulate before we will see a crossover on the MACD occur and see a major move towards the upside getting started, or this 4-hourly candle will still be able to close above the 0.382 Fibonacci level at 43 cents, what I think is even more healthy due to the fact that if this occurs, you will still see Terrafuel finding support on previous levels of support and resistance where it traded in the past. So that is my personal opinion on Terrafuel. For all people who are watching this live stream, I really hope you're enjoying this live stream so far. I must say I do for sure. If you're liking the content, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and if you're liking the channel, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well. So unfortunately, I will be ending this live stream right now. I have to do something else, but I really appreciate you guys being here, and I would love to see you during the next live stream tomorrow. So thank you once again, and have a nice day. So bye bye, and I really hope you enjoyed the content. So bye.